Nobody wants to back down. Lucas decides to find the magic door to save all by himself, while Eleven is wandering around the woods. He then walks through the woods. People were shocked to see this weird kid. When the staff asked where his parents were, Eleven casually dropped a cuss word and then strolled over to the shelf to grab a bunch of slippers. He probably wanted to prove that he could snag some goodies without Mike and the gang. Afterward, Eleven sat in the woods enjoying his slippery pens when he suddenly heard someone calling his name. Mike and Dustin were looking for him. Mike heard someone in the woods, thinking it was Eleven, but found two troublemakers instead. As soon as Dustin spotted Troy pulling out a knife, he grabbed Mike and took off running. But they didn't get far before the troublemakers caught up with them. Mike picks up a rock but was outmatched. Dustin was held hostage by Troy with a knife, forcing Mike to jump off a cliff, or else head harm Dustin. Mike chose friendship over fear and jumped off, despite Dustin's pleas. The troublemakers were stunned by Mike's bravery and quickly ran over to check, but what they saw next shocked them even more. Mike was floating in midair. Frozen, a magical force lifted him back to the cliff. The troublemakers gaped. Landing, Mike found Eleven had saved him. Then Eleven used her superpowers to take down the troublemakers, folding Troy's arm. They fled while Eleven collapsed. She cried and revealed the truth to Mike. She was the one who opened the door to the Wonderland. Eleven thought of herself as a monster, but Mike disagreed. Because she saved his life, Mike immediately hugged Eleven to comfort her. At that moment, Eleven finally felt the warmth of friendship, and later, Mike and Dustin took her. Little did they know, the energy department targeted them. Lucas, solo, followed the compass outside the lab for hidden passageways. He spotted many personnel with binoculars, then rushed to notify Mike et al. Via walkie-talkie. The energy department knew Eleven was there, urging them to leave. They sprinted to the window, noticing a suspicious repair truck outside. When Mike tried to check with his mom if anyone was scheduled for repairs, even more identical repair truck showed up at his doorstep. Dustin hurried over to inform Mike. They had to leave instantly. The two took Eleven out the back, spotted by Brenner, who chased after them. The three evaded the chase in the side street, reunited with Lucas, but an energy department vehicle chased, ready to trap them. At a critical moment, Eleven activated escape mode, fleeing to an abandoned lot in the woods. Lucas realized he misjudged Eleven, apologized, reconciled with Mike, then described the lab's surroundings to them. It resembled a fortress. He suspected the upside-down world's gateway was in the lab. Suddenly, a helicopter appeared nearby, prompting them to hide bikes under an abandoned bus. They then ducked into the bus. Meanwhile, Hopper and Joyce recapped everything that had happened. When he previously barged into the lab, he discovered they were conducting some sort of experiments. Inside, he found a child's room resembling a prison. He saw a drawing of an adult and child by the kid. It had 11 on its simplistic drawing. Joyce showed Will's, which Hopper found much better. Joyce was convinced that the child in the lab wasn't Will, which reminded Hopper of events leading up to Benner's death. A kid with short hair showed up in his burger joint. He thought it was Will. He found Terry, who sued Dr. Benner and the Goft after losing her daughter. But it all ended up being in vain. Hopper had always thought he was searching for Will, but it turned out to be another child. The two then found Terry, wanting to know about her kid and the connection with Brenner, but Terry remained silent. She looked like she wasn't all there, and her sister informed them that Terry participated in a university study back in the 50s called a mind control experiment. The experiment aimed to expand the potential of the human mind. During the process, a man drugged Terry and then placed her in an isolation tank filled. This allowed her to float inside, but the experiment stole her senses and sight, completely obliterating her. Most importantly, Terry unexpectedly got pregnant then and miscarried in the last trimester. Since then, her mental state deteriorated. She envisioned a child and even named her Jane. Terry claimed Jane was incredibly special and had gifts. She had telepathy and powers with immense mental strength. That man snatched Jane away to turn her into a superweapon against Russia. However, her sister found no birth certificate or records in the hospital. Doctors and nurses confirmed the miscarriage, leading her to believe Terry had gone mad. Nancy, still shaken from last night, couldn't sleep. Closing her eyes, she saw the monster hiding in the same spot. Will and Barbara might be trapped. They had to find him again. She recalled seeing the monster munch on the deer last night. It meant it was a carnivore that hunted at night. Nancy suddenly remembered Barbara hurting herself by the pool during the gathering, and the deer was injured last night, leading her to believe the monster came for the blood. To find the missing two, they decided to lure it out. Jonathan and Nancy prepared to draw out the monster, stocking up on gear and bullets. As they left the store, Nancy noticed someone spreading rumors about her, and that someone was Steve, who was green with envy after seeing Nancy with Jonathan last night. Hurt, Nancy slapped him. Nancy couldn't explain herself to Steve, and when Steve noticed Jonathan behind her, he unleashed a ruthless attack. Jonathan had to hold back, but when Steve mentioned his mom and brother, Jonathan snapped. He punched Steve, starting a brawl. Clearly, Steve was no match, pounded into the ground by Jonathan. The police arrived, breaking them up. Jonathan was arrested for hitting an officer. Steve and his buddies fled, leaving Jonathan and Nancy with police. Hopper and Joyce returned to find their son handcuffed. Joyce demanded officers remove them, but they were helpless. Jonathan faced charges for assaulting an officer and had dangerous items in his car. Hopper demanded an explanation, forcing him to confess plans with Nancy to deal with the monster. Joyce scolded her son for risking his life alongside Nancy for this. At that moment, commotion outside. Troy's mum came to report, claiming another kid broke Troy's arm. Hopper was busy, so he had officers take Troy's statement and dismissed him. Upon hearing Troy describe her as a short-haired monster, Hopper grilled him about her details.